So we were in chaoticradio.com. What our stream looks like is a picture of me, picture of you, and Chaotic Radio behind it. So below it. So we're getting that happening. So we can just put this out to people later tonight on YouTube, see what they think. I feel good right now.
I feel good.
It's what you study. All right, let's. Oh, I forgot to do this whole part two. Let me do that right now, and we'll be on the way out. 2 hours.
So you have financial numbers, right? You know how well they're doing, how well they were doing.
$2.4 billion.
But that was by when? Because
that was when they declared bankruptcy. That's what they were bringing in.
But then they lost 1.1 billion.
They lost 1.1 million because the people who bought them out of bankruptcy the first time pulled the money out and put it in their pockets.
Nice.
So they can justify putting them in bankruptcy. Which one is that one? Got it. 2 hours. And booyah. And we'll burp this. There it is. Business autopsy. Okay, do 30 seconds all clear, please.
This is chaoticradio.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Business Autopsy. I am Bernard. That's Sean over there.
What's going on?
And, guys, what we're here to do is talk to you about a couple of things that happen in the world of business and commerce and just fun subjects we got involved with. We really think that this is a show basically for you to be able to be interesting at the water cooler or have a good time when you talk to people about these interesting facts that we found out for you. Really, to be honest with you, we're both a couple of C plus students who decided they got really curious about why did businesses fail or how did businesses not survive or what were the dumb missteps they had or either things like why didn't one technology win out of other technology, right, Sean?
Right, and we try to break it down to the level of people that have a 2.0 GPA, 2.5 GPA. To that level.
2.5, we were that good?
I was 2.5. I skimmed by
I was
because
not.
purely athletics.
Yeah, I was not. Yeah, a lot of A's for swimming, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So we want to start this show off. What we're going to talk about tonight with this news clip. So here we go.
Disappear from store shelves, Hostess is going out of business. Striking workers refused to take wage and benefit cuts. Hostess said that crippled its ability to deliver its products, and it's now forced to shut down. All 18,500 workers will now be out of their jobs. And
Wow.
18,000 people.
18.5.
Out of 5 factories across the country.
That's 5 factories.
18,000.
Okay. So, guys, we're going to talk to you about Hostess. 2012 is basically the date we're going to get really deep in with you guys. But I want to talk about the history of Hostess. And you got that on the Wikipedia, right? The history of Hostess?
I got the history of, what the first product was. Would you like to know what the first product was?
Yeah, so let's give the people a little breakdown of what we're going to do. So, guys, this is how we're going to have our show. The format's going to be, we're going to give you a history of the company, talk to you about the things they've done, tell you things that we like about it, a lot of personal stuff. And then we're going to start talking about decline and what happened to them and what went wrong. And then more than likely, me and Sean are going to debate about why we think these companies didn't do well. And if you want to go join in on the debate, you can find us on Business Autopsy on Facebook, Business Autopsy on Twitter. We have a we don't have an Instagram or nothing like that, right?
No, not yet.
No. We don't. What are we gonna do? Take pictures of dead businesses putting out there? So,
Why not?
old advertisements.
There you go.
So we're gonna talk about these things. But Sean, you got the history. So tell me how did Hostess start? When they start? What's going on? Who are they?
Well, basically, I mean, you think Hostess, you automatically think Twinkie.
Damn, Skippy.
Oh, delicious Twinkie. I don't give a damn what anyone thinks. Twinkies are delicious. Cream filled.
Deep fried Twinkies are
Oh,
delicious.
Lord. Oh, yeah. But they go back further than that. They actually started out making cupcakes on May of 1919, so almost 100 years ago.
Wow.
They started with cupcakes. And then from there, I think 1925, they branded out officially as Hostess and started making
Ding dongs.
Wunderbread.
What? Wonder Bread.
Wonder Bread.
So wait, Hostess was the birth of Wonder Bread.
Yes.
Was that just sliced bread or just white bread? Or just
I
the
think it
company?
was just white bread. I don't
Okay.
think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. They might have dated that.
Okay.
And finally, in 1933, the Twinkie came out.
1933 is when we got the birth of the Twinkie.
Yeah. So you're looking at 80 plus years for
Okay.
something as magically delicious as a Twinkie.
So they had the Twinkie, Ding Dong, Cupcake, Snowballs.
Snowballs came around, I think it was in the 1960s.
The 60s?
Yeah.
I know you got some paperwork there that has a whole list of their whole timeline of release and stuff. So we're gonna try to go through that too.
Yes.
I mean, you know what?
That was right.
There it is. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
The Donutettes. I loved the Donutettes. The little glazed packet of donuts,
Oh, yeah.
the crumble donuts. Those
Oh,
were-
yeah, that you'd have to cry to your mom to get at the grocery store or the gas station.
I was a fat kid. I had to cry much.
Oh, no, your mom just gave it to you.
Oh, boy,
just to
she-
shut you up.
boy,
And
did
that
she-
barely lasted to the walk to the car.
There's a walk to the car?
No one's going to carry you, Bernard.
No, I'm not talking about you actually ate them to the car. You didn't
Oh,
like
yeah.
sit there and inhale them
Right there.
Yeah.
Just hand the package to the cashier, tell him to ring it up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just get an
Oh,
empty
yeah.
package. No, but so we got the Twinkie, got the cupcakes, and I remember eating cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
We get out of school, high school, run up to the Thrifties, get the Thrifty ice cream and a cupcake, and then keep the walk home.
Mm-hmm.
The Donutettes, I love the Donutettes. Those were great.
They're chocolate ones. Oh, my God, dude.
Ho-Hos,
Ho-Hos, Suzy Q's,
Ding Dongs,
Ding Dongs.
Mini Muffins.
You know, this
You-
Hostess.
Hostess had so
you on
many.
lockdown.
They had the snack game on lockdown.
They
I mean,
did.
there was not. Okay, can you think of any more an American product that was everybody universally loved when you came here? Like every kid knew what a Twinkie was. Every kid knew what Ding Dong was. After soccer practice or soccer games,
remember
you
that? Yeah.
you get your Twinkies and Ding Dongs
Yep.
in your Capri Sun. Or after you play sports, you got these things. Or I just found another one, the fruit pie. Oh my God!
I
dude.
love the. Listen, my favorite part of the fruit pie was eating the edges. That whole thing was sugar. There was no apple in there. There was no damn cherry in there. It was sugar.
No,
It was red sugar.
The vanilla one though.
Vanilla pudding.
That one's pretty horrible
Oh,
for you.
Lord, that was diabetes in a small packet.
Yeah, listen,
right away.
They did a good job of that.
Oh, man. Imagine how many children they turned obese besides us growing up, eating their product, not giving a damn.
Yeah, well, sugar wasn't bad for us back then.
No, it was delicious.
Carbs aren't that bad for us. You're supposed to eat carbs. It's at the bottom of the food pyramid. It's just how it was back when we were growing up.
Exactly.
And back when people were listening to us, understood this is what you did. This was the snack. This was part of your diet. It was modified. Just Hostess was everywhere. You couldn't escape Hostess. You couldn't. So they were 1919s when they started.
1919 is when they started, progressed from 1933 to Twinkies, and then from there they kind of expanded their lines into baked goods. Wonder Bread coming up down the line. 1967 was it Ding Dongs and Ho-Hos came into the pack.
67 we got
Yeah.
Ding Dongs.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, 67.
I
I
know,
love me a
right?
Ding Dong, dude.
Mm-hmm. And
Come on, you got to get a little chocolate cake, a little bit of cream filling, dipped in chocolate.
it's chocolate over chocolate.
How can you not love that?
Exactly. And I think they're, even expanding from there. Look, the Twinkie took many forms. Okay, as its original form was delicious.
But that was what you talking about. Wasn't it banana filled originally?
There was no. Original was a sponge cake with just like a vanilla cream filling.
Okay.
Yeah, the banana one was okay. And then they kind of like went with like this key lime slime and other crap. Listen,
they
had
have
a bunch
key
of
lime Twinkie.
key lime slime Twinkie.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
So I wouldn't say that was led to their downfall, but you know what? It probably didn't help, and it probably sealed the deal when they did the pumpkin spice one. But that's just disgusting.
They started making pumpkin spices recently though, so that's after this whole. Wow, you're right. Hostess key lime slime Twinkies. I found it on Amazon, and they're selling them they're unavailable right now.
Of course.
But wow, that looks horrible.
Do you think they'd still last?
What, the Twinkie?
Oh, yeah. Remember that whole longevity thing? The whole talk that we all had growing up was how long a Twinkie could last. You could throw a Twinkie in there for 20 years, and it would be fine.
Well, let me see if I can find this for us. No, you know, they said that Twinkies were so filled with preservatives that they would last past a nuclear explosion, right?
There'd be nothing but Twinkies and cockroaches left.
Let's find that clip.
Hey, by the way, was Family Guy right? Was there really a Twinkie factory in Natick?
I can find out.
I don't think so. That'd have been great, though.
I'm trying to find. They have that whole episode with it. I don't have that Twinkie line yet. There's Twinkie the Kid one.
Well, you want to talk about the...
It was difficult for Twink to play with other children. He was different. He was definitely he had no bones, and he couldn't really play any sports.
Yeah, and that's, why we got him the lasso.
Yeah.
He'd spent hours in the backyard playing Wonder Woman. He's gonna kill me.
He loved that lasso. He not as much as the baton, but we put a stop to the baton.
So, Twinkie the Kid, was actually that product's mascot for a while, right?
He was actually, if you think about it, I mean, they had a lot of mascots, which we can get into whenever. But Twinkie the Kid was, the iconic face.
Really? What other mascots do they have?
Well, they had, I think it was Fruit the Wizard for the Fruit Pie the Wizard.
Really?
They had a Captain Cupcake.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, brother. He had a captain's hat, arms, and just a cupcake. And then, of course, the king of them all.
Mayor McCheese.
Oh, God, I love him. No, wrong brand.
Oh, sorry. I
voted for him, though.
The Frito Bandito.
I voted for Mayor McCheese. It's King Ding Dong. King Dong.
King Dong? You're kidding.
King Ding Dong. How was that advertising to a child?
That's a porn star's name. Has to be.
That's Long Dong or whatever.
Long Dong Silver.
Yeah. King Kong, excuse me. King Ding Dong.
That's so awesome.
Listen, they have shirts like that out there still. I could get you one. It's your color and everything.
Oh, I love yellow. So here it is. Look at Twinkie the Kid was made in 1971, and they have merchandise, and he has a lot of places. Yeah, Captain Cupcake, Fruit Pie the Magician, Chauncey Chocodile.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the Chocodiles. Those were essentially just chocolate-covered Twinkies.
Yes, they were. They were amazing. So, we have a lot of history with it. I mean, we actually had a teacher that we shared in high school that had a Twinkie in the head of Abraham Lincoln.
A busted
Abraham Lincoln. And I remember he said he had it for at least 8 years at the time. And he was holding on to the Twinkie. And I found actually an article where a guy had a Twinkie for 40 years. And he opened it up, and it was like a rock. I mean, Hostess has so many things that touched Americana that we would put Twinkies and stuff in time capsules. Bill Clinton put a Twinkie in a time capsule.
Have they opened that yet?
No, not yet. I don't think it's open until 22 something.
22?
22 something.
Oh, that thing's going to be like crystallized.
Yeah, but you know what? Twinkies were that much part of Americana. So my question would be, besides maybe we had a changing taste in society or something, how the hell did this company go out of business? How did they claim bankruptcy?
Well, I want to say there's different paths we can take with this one.
Well, okay, so if you guys don't know, we had a big Twinkie scare at a time. 2012, the Hostess company did declare bankruptcy. It was the second bankruptcy to declare, right, Sean?
Yeah, the first one they claimed was in 2004.
I thought it was 2009.
No, they came back from bankruptcy in 2009.
So 2004 was the first bankruptcy. Yeah. 2012 was the final bankruptcy.
And that's when
and then we didn't have Twinkies for like a year.
It was horrible. You go on Amazon, you see that stuff selling for like
$100 a box.
Didn't you find some?
Oh, I found some Chocodiles and I tried selling them online.
Yeah,
but I ate them instead.
That was way more important.
Oh boy,
the fat kid in you wanted to be satisfied.
Oh yeah, I was too.
Satisfied you were.
I paid the right amount. I couldn't find Twinkies to save my life. I remember going to like 4 different grocery stores trying to find Twinkies. I figured, You know where I find it at? I find it at a liquor store, and they don't even pay attention. Those liquor stores actually had them jacked up to $5 a Twinkie.
Yeah, all they knew.
They knew. But the idea that something so entwined with us as people was going out of business.
And something exactly. It's almost as it happened overnight. You love your Twinkies, you have them, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
But the common Joe, average Joe, is not going to go, well, what the hell? Where did it go?
No joke. We couldn't figure out because
Why?
I think at that time too they were making $2.4 billion in sales a year.
500 million Twinkies, I think it was.
They're making 500 million Twinkies a year?
a year.
Okay, so here's an interesting fact about Twinkies. When they're making them before, the actual shelf life of a Twinkie was 25 days.
Yeah, legitimately. I don't know where that talk came from of longevity.
Well, because they were full of preservatives in the 70s, and they wanted to be nature and hippie. And if it wasn't natural, then they didn't want it.
Well, of course.
So Twinkies were at 25 days was the actual shelf life of a Twinkie before 2012, before the company went under. So again, people were buying Twinkies left and right. We had eBay prices of Twinkies going for boxes for $100, $200.
Who got buyer remorse from buying that at that price?
That person's dead of diabetes right now. So don't worry about it.
I hope they made it worth it then.
They ate all the Twinkies when they got there. I mean, what are you gonna do? Sit there and hold on to it and try to sell it later like a stock?
Well, that better be the best damn tasting box of Twinkies you ever had for $200.
Well, they bought it though. And we were having people buying Twinkies, buying ho-hos, buying ding-dongs left and right.
Whatever Hostess product you get your hands on.
And they had a lot of speculation about who was going to buy the company after they were done. Like I remember, I thought the smart move was going to be, if you guys don't know about it, Bimbo Cakes. They're a baker out of Mexico, and
they were in the running. Weren't
they
were
deep in the running.
They were
to get the Hostess brand, but we got to talk about why did all this go wrong? What the hell? Like again, $2.4 billion you're making in sales a year. What was strangling them? What caused them not to be able to make money? What caused them not to be able to be financially sustainable with that much coming in, right? And again, the news article we heard at the beginning of the show, that was 18,500 jobs that were gone,
like that,
just gone. What was happening? So, again, me and Sean, we did the studying for you to tell you what's happening, what's going on. Sean, I know me and you had a talk beforehand, but we talked a lot about it. A lot of people saying it was the union's fault. You think that too, right?
I think the union. There were so many different positions they were bargaining for. The union, the Teamsters union, came to an agreement with one half, but not another, and so the bakeries union was kind of left out in the cold.
Well, so here's the thing that happened too, guys. Well, when the birth of Hostess had their company, original company, and what they did is when they started growing, they started buying other companies. When they were buying other companies, they would then adopt the other company's union practices to it. So over the years, they didn't have one union contract that to follow. They had, I think it's 346 different union contracts from 346 different other businesses they bought out. They had to follow and try to keep in contact with. So negotiation for them was damn near impossible.
Can you imagine just having to bargain with 346 instead of bringing them all under one umbrella?
If they would have I think that was one severe thing they messed up on. I mean, I understand that they kept the union rates or kept the people keeping their personal union for what it is, but them not being able to say, hey, let's bring all this stuff into one collective bargaining agreement instead of having so many different people you have to negotiate with down the line. That makes it a pain in the ass.
I think initially they might have been thinking with their hearts before they were thinking with their brains. I think they went into these companies and think, listen, we're not going to break up your union. We want to talk to you guys first, find out what's going on, and let's work with them. Instead of going and saying, hey, you guys, we bought you out, your jobs are safe, but you got to come into our union here. So, we can give you a golden parachute and find an out, or you can come with us here. So
when we're talking about the things they were actually buying up other bread companies, right? Bread routes.
Yes.
They had they at the end they had 5,500 delivery routes. They had 565 different distribution centers over the United States. You know,
how do you keep control? How do you manage something like that?
and it had
With-
570 outlets. And remember, the outlets were the best thing. You go in there and get
Oh,
Twinkies
yeah.
for 25 cents a
Oh, yeah.
piece.
Those were the best.
And you get the bread for like $1. You got it was reduced prices on all the food you wanted from Hostess, and they had 570 across the nation.
And nothing went to waste.
No, not really. So when Hostess started growing and growing bigger and bigger, they were buying smaller companies, bringing them into their fold. They just weren't negotiating the contracts the way they should have. They kept people with their old contracts and let it stay. And I think you're right. Thinking with your heart probably is what really screwed them there.
And what do you and see and the climax of this? What do you think happens when you do that? When you start catering to the employees and not giving telling them the way, they're going to get complacent. They're going to get entitled.
Oh, this is a fun time.
Now you think with that, you know how unions are already a joy to deal with. And imagine already going there. Hey, you gave us this contract when you bought us out, so why can't we honor this now?
Okay. So 2012 came along. So 2009 they got into bankruptcy. The old HB was the guys that owned them, and then they sold their businesses in 2012 to a guy named Dean
Metropolis. Metropolis or something like that.
Dean Metropolis.
He's Greek.
Yeah, of course. But so they had the issues, and if you want to look it up, you can see. You can Google what caused Hostess to die, and you're going to get two different forms of it. One, you're going to get the unions caused them to die. The unions were the reason why they died. And I don't believe that. We'll get deeper in the subject of why I don't believe that a little later. And we also have that they were just greedy capitalists that want you to die. I mean, you know what I found when I looked it up too? I was Googling and I looked up Hostess, unions, and then I looked up everything there. And I said, Hostess, unions, evil. Whole new set of web pages came up.
No kidding. I didn't even think to do that.
A whole new set. And they were of the right-wing variety, and I'm okay to get information from them too. I heard an interview with Rush Limbaugh talking about how this is part of the conspiracy to have the president say, look at these Republicans killing Hostess. You're killing the American dream because they don't want to make work with the unions. And it was his argument wasn't a good one, but I understand how they can see that. But we look at what they were offering. Okay, so here's what they offered the unions before they said, hey, kick rocks. They told them that they would lose 8% in pay, 8% in pay off the top, and they would lose 27 to 33% off of their benefits for them to keep their jobs.
And what do you think they said?
Well, the unions basically said kick rocks.
In that sense, yeah.
The unions told them to kick rocks, and I can understand why. Because the people who bought them in between, they pulled the money out they had in the company, the profits they were making, and gave that money back to the executives. They didn't reinvest in the company. That's where my issue was. The executives that came in the second time around, they put the money in to buy the company. And when they bought the company, they said, hey, this is ours now. We're going to pull all the money out and make sure we get our money back out of it. When maybe they should have did something like reinvest into the company or reinvest in the product and make it a better product,
Or expand your product line.
Or, expand your product line. Or what Dean did, So, guys, Hostess is dead. We got people selling Twinkies on eBay. We got people losing their mind trying to
mass hysteria.
Losing their mind over it. We got people singing songs about how the hell we lose Twinkies. Again, for me personally, I was worried because, the deep fried Twinkie just came out I think 2 years before that.
Yeah, I remember that. First one I got in Vegas.
Oh, my God, it's the best thing in the world. If you guys never had deep fried Twinkie, it's the best thing.
You are missing out.
The deep fried Twinkie sundae I had recently, which was 3 deep fried Twinkies with ice cream, chocolate, and oh, my God. Beautiful, just beautiful. So, yeah, we didn't have deep fried Twinkies anymore. We didn't have that. So we had bad substitutes. I remember going to a tailgate one time. We had the fake Twinkies and brought them to the tailgate, and people were just amazed, they're okay. It's just you don't get that Twinkie flavor. No. So 2012, Twinkie is dead. Hostess is dead. And we got this guy, Dean. Say his name for me.
I think it's Metropolis.
Dean Metropolis comes in and buys a company. And I remember this specifically because I remember reading this in Forbes magazine, and I thought it was the smartest thing ever. If you guys don't know, there's a thing out there called Six Sigma. Six Sigma Lean and Six Sigma Master. The Six Sigma is a study of how to refine, how to get things better, how to make it so it's well worth your time. Let's cut the fat and make things a lot better for us, right? Dean, I think, is a Six Sigma genius. The best way you can find Six Sigma, if you've never seen it before, the TV show out there called The Prophet on CNBC, done by Marcus Lemonis. This show, if the guy goes to people's businesses and tells them, hey, this is how we can make you a better business. This is how we can focus what you're doing. So what Dean did, Dean came into Hostess when they didn't have anything, and he made a plan. And he said, you know what we got to do? Hostess has a lot of businesses. And that they had 300 different union contracts. Of course, they have a lot of businesses. What was really making them money? What was the thing people really wanted a lot of?
You know, it was Twinkies.
Yeah, it was Twinkies.
Oh yeah, that's synonymous. It's hand in hand with.
So what he did is he figured out, how do we refine the Twinkie making process? So if I remember right, the original Twinkie factory was being run since the 60s, right? So they had the original one since the 60s. Dean came along and said, you know, son, we can update this with new technology.
And take out the manpower.
We could take out a lot of manpower. We could do a lot of stuff to make it a lot better, make it easier on us, make it a cheaper product to make. And if we use these new ingredients and new preservatives, it could actually have a shelf life of not 25 days, but 50 days. If you have a shelf life of 50 days for a Twinkie, you could now have a holding area. So you can make Twinkies all day long and just deliver them when you need to. Before that, with the 5,500 delivery routes Hostess had.
You know what? On a side note, for those delivery routes, going back to it, do you realize that part of the union agreement they wanted to hold on to was each product had to have its own delivery truck?
Hey, okay, and that's stupid.
That's the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard. Why the hell are you gonna have a Twinkie truck and a Ding Dong truck and a Nature Nut, bread truck?
And this is what Dean said. Dean said this does not make sense for us.
It's because they gave it. The union had the balls. The management did not.
The union was trying to protect themselves. They were trying to say, listen, if we have a truck for everybody, you can't take away these jobs. Instead, the union saying, okay, we might have to lose some jobs, but at least we'll make sure we'll be refined enough to make it so it lasts a lot longer. Dean did the refinement on the back end. Dean, thank you so much. You're here I would love to talk to you about this. Dean said, no, we're going to just refine this one product. We're going to refine Twinkies. See, this with the 5,500 routes, delivery routes. Just think of that, 5,500 delivery routes. That's 5,500 trucks, 5,500 employees at least to drive the trucks. You got to have people that pick up the truck, put stuff on, deliver the truck, load the trucks.
Not talking about the fuel costs.
The fuel costs on top of that. He said, this is something we don't need. We don't need to do that. He cut that out of the company. He cut the bread out of the company. He said, we'll sell these off to somebody else who wants the bread labels. We don't need that. We're just going to refine the Twinkie and make it better. And then he did. He refined the Twinkie, made it so it had a 50-day shelf life. With a 50-day shelf life, you were able to have a holding zone for it. So you can make Twinkie with, I think the original process was, and I'm probably off, but I think it's been a while since I read that Forbes article. The original process to make a Twinkie took, I think, 35 people. When Dean was done with it, with the new technology, the new items they used to make it refine the process, it took 7 or 8.
And you're literally cutting out 30 jobs, 30 people. I'm
okay with that. If you're making a refinement, you're making it better,
In the long, it sucks in the long. In the short term.
Well, it sucks in the short term, but those other people can then find other jobs and do better. You can reduce your forces from 18,000 to 2,000 and still create a nice profit for everybody. And then if you want, you can give a nice package to people who don't need it, who use those nice package so those people can get another job or get education or something, not just have them all laid off and lose their gig right then and there.
Well, that's what pretty much happened.
And it's because the union didn't want to budge on that. So, okay, when we talked about it, you said, "Hey, the union was the problem," and I said, "No, I still think this. I think the company who bought them after the first bankruptcy, they let the union push them around, but they should have said, we're going to refine this. We're going to make this better. We're going to find ways to save money other than just reducing jobs. We're going to find ways to save money by making a better product, by getting rid of the things in the company that aren't making money for us." Like, I'm sure this is what it looks like. Twinkie was funding everything.
Oh yeah,
the Twinkie was the profit.
that was the
thing.
pimp. handing everything out.
Because so if when Dean bought it, he said, "No, the Twinkie's going to be the what stands on its own. We're going to make it better. We make it better. We make more money. We make more money. We can keep going." So, if I remember right, Dean bought Hostess at $410 million. The name?
That was 450. No, I think you're right. I apologize. It was 410.
Yeah, I think it's 410. He bought it. He was able to refine it, make it better, clean it up, be able to make this into a profitable exercise. And then he sold it. He sold it. Actually, he didn't sell it. He actually went on NASDAQ, got on NASDAQ, traded under Twink, TWNK. And they raised $700 million the first day.
And just like that, without, you know why? Because there was no union problems. There was no union.
Yeah, there's now no union with Hostess.
There's none. Now Hostess is, I believe, 100% union free.
It is.
And it is run as just a at-will company.
And it's okay. I mean, I have no
that's
problem.
That's fine. I don't.
We look at what Dean did, and look what happened to the product. I believe Hostess died because Hostess let the union take over some, instead of them trying to refine and get better and work on making sure. Okay, listen, this bread thing isn't working for us, but I know it keeps us jobs, but we can't afford this anymore.
And it really caught up to them in the end there in 2012 when they had to claim bankruptcy. They were on a revenue of $2.4 billion.
2.4,
but with a loss of $1.1 billion.
Because I think
because
they were supporting too many people. I think you're right. So my opinion of why Hostess went down, even though Twinkies were the biggest thing going, still the biggest thing going, still synonymous to American culture, even to this day, is because the people, they catered too much to the union and didn't think about refinement to make things last a lot longer. And if you're not trying to improve how your situation is, you are going to get lapped. Somebody else is going to come in and take your lunch, and that's what's going to happen.
You know what I'm also thinking is what really led them up to, really, chafed the union's ass was when management came in, they basically did what Michael Eisner did when he first took over Disney. Come in there and you're going to slash your wages a lot. You're coming down to a great amount, and this is what it's going to be. And they're like, no, it's not. Because you never had an opportunity to sit at the damn table from the beginning like you should have to tell them, hey, we're going to negotiate this price. You're going to go in there and tell them, hey, we're cutting your price from the dude there making $19 an hour. He's going to make $11 now. What the hell? Why? Because what his job doesn't require a 19 an hour position. Well, you didn't tell us that before. You never sat down with us. You can't just come in here and cut our damn jobs and cut our damn hours.
So they had a big old internal struggle over that?
That was a huge struggle. The
I
whole
didn't realize that.
It's them coming in like, hey, we got to cut these prices. And, labor has to be cut. No, we're not cutting labor. You're not doing anything like that. And so that's why the Teamsters Union was bargaining on behalf of those ones, the drivers, the warehouse workers, but the bakery was left out in the cold trying to, I think when in the end the Teamsters Union settled.
Yeah,
but the bakeries union did not.
One settled, one didn't, and that's what
5,000
yeah.
employees on the bakery union side said, no, we're not doing anything.
So 5,000 is what caused the other 13,000 to lose their jobs.
You can blame them damn bakers.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was the biggest issue we're talking about is that the wages were so bad. And I remember I get numbers. It was basically 8% drop from anything else, right? Yeah. And lost the benefits. But if they came in saying, hey, your job doesn't require you to make $19 an hour. We understand you're doing it. You got to make 11 so we can make this happen. Then, yeah, maybe you need to take some concessions.
Yeah, you need to.
Maybe you should take some concessions on that side.
You didn't come in with the union. You basically went down with your pants around your ankles saying, hey, okay, no problem. You keep your 19-hour position. And then 3 years down the line, hey, you know what? It's not looking so good.
Yeah,
we can't really work with this.
You can't sustain that.
We cannot sustain this. Oh, but you told us from the beginning. Well, tough shit.
Yeah,
I'm making a change.
Yeah,
it's not feasible for the company, and it cost them. It hurt.
Well, I'm gonna change my opinion because I do think that here it is. I think this was a massive cluster. No matter what you say, and I think it's a lot of blame to go from everywhere.
Oh yeah,
everywhere. It wasn't just unions. It wasn't unions. It was unions and management and them not trying to refine and get better. That's the thing that bothers me. It's if the guy who bought it can figure a way to make it so it takes from 30 people to 7 to 8 people to make the same product, why didn't you think of that earlier? Why didn't you do these things? Why didn't you refine your business enough to get better like that? You know, I mean, look what we're doing right now. We refined our business, or refine what we're doing on this podcast or the show to make it so we sound better. See, guys, after 5, we're making it work. We're making it work.
And you know, it's on top of another thing I was going to add, besides the union management brouhaha, another thing that seems to be a trend here is failing to expand your product, failing to find something new,
Failing to refine.
failing to refine.
You know, just sitting on your laurels thinking it's okay and nothing's going to change. Like, the world doesn't change.
Do you want to know what their attempt at refining was?
What's what
Was
the $100 the 100-calorie package, right?
Who the hell? Listen, I've always had a problem with that. With those damn Chips Ahoy's, those damn thin Oreos. Who cares? What am I going to do with a 100-calorie Twinkie? I'm going to eat 10 of them.
That's right, you are.
That's ridiculous. That's your comeback. It's 100-calorie. You know, people were eating healthy. You know, people were buying less junk food.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's work with that.
They could have did something else on made it all natural ingredients, something like that.
But can you take a natural Twinkie?
We could have happened.
I tried to put that in my head. Like, what are you going to use for the sweetener? Are you going to use stevia, xylitol?
You could use a whole bunch of things for sweeteners. They could have refined and changed and did more things. So I'm with you. I'm going to blame. I put a lot of the blame on the union and management for 2 things. One, the union not being willing to budge when the writing's on the wall that we can do things better and quicker. And thank you, Dean, for showing us that afterwards when he came up with the sweetest return ever, the sweetest comeback ever for when the Twinkies came back. Which
exactly.
was smart marketing, and they did it, made it so much better. Again, I want to link to that Fortune article I read on our Facebook so people can read it, because it's about a good 10,000 words, but it is so good about understanding what refinement can do to your business process and how to make it work a lot better. But yeah, and the management for not thinking about the refinement part, and I hope it wasn't just the management being held by the union not to refine, because if that's it, then no wonder why you went bankrupt.
Yeah, you know how to take care of your business.
You have to take care of it and get down.
You know what really, what bugs me
What's
is
that?
You're not just losing 18,000 jobs.
18.5.
18.5. You're losing, that's not including people's family members, what they're out. Because of the union not willing to budge, not willing to take an 8% cut and a 22% benefit cut, 18,500 employees plus family.
Yeah.
Said, hey, plenty of change on the streets.
And think about this and the downstream effect of it. So the people who worked at the factories had to go eat food somewhere. So those businesses are now losing business from that. The gas stations had to fill up the trucks, though they're losing business from that. The mechanics had to work on the trucks. They're losing business from that. There's a lot of things downstream that cause some issues, and that's what it is, unfortunately. But we still have Twinkies today.
Yeah, that's the important thing, is we can still fill our fat bellies with those.
And we
delicious.
So we sit there, guys. We told you about the history of the Hostess and some of the cool things. Played you a commercial or two. Talked about their rise, and then talked about what we think was the fall. And I think we had the consensus what the fall is, right, Sean?
Exactly. It's
no, you don't have to go back in. We said it. We can't only beat a dead horse. Yeah. So before I go, we gotta do a live read, right? We should do a live read.
Do a live read.
Okay.
This wonderful place.
So let's talk about chaoticradio.com. Chaoticradio.com is the reason why we sound so good. It's an actual full studio in Cucamonga, California, where you can come in and rent time and produce your own podcast. What they'll give you is an engineer, a location, and a way to live stream your show to YouTube. So you get two ways to show your show off to everybody, and we're doing it right now, and we're having a great time. We're between glass. We feel like we're professional. If we want to take a phone call, we could. We're just not going to, because we're not that good yet. So,
soon, people.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
Yeah. But, chaoticradio.com. If you want, come find me, B, or get a hold of Dutchie. Listen to the shows, like the show coming on after us is That Awesome Game Show. That's what it's called, guys, The Awesome Game Show. Or the kind of gaming show.
Oh, the video game people.
Yeah, the video game guys. We got a Jack of All Nerds later on. 78 RPM. It's a radio show where it plays all unlicensed, unsigned punk bands. The Black Lung Show on Sundays with more unsigned punk bands and stuff like that. So you can get a lot of really cool shows and get your own flavor. If you have an idea or a vision and you want to actually be on the radio, forget about Chaotic Sports, the other show I do. Come to chaoticradio.com. We'll be able to help you out and make your vision happen. So, Sean, I think that was a good episode.
I think that was good.
All right,
You know what? I'm gonna go get a damn Twinkie now.
I'm going to get 2. All right, guys. Thank you for
Your
listening.
diet, man. You can't. You can't.
I'll do push-ups too. Thank you for listening to Chaotic Radio. Thank you for listening to Business Autopsy. I'm B,
I'm Sean.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
All right, clear out.
Damn good. Damn good show.